Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, how are you doing?
Pretty good. We're closing out June here.
We are, which is crazy. I brought this up to a couple of my classes. I said, can you believe it? We're halfway through 2025. And then I see those things pop up on social media where it's like 30 weekends left, this many days left. And it just starts to count it down. You're like, yeah, there's no time left in the year at all. Yet I feel like I have a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel that way?
To an extent. I mean, I look back and I feel like I've already done so much this year, honestly, that,
Yeah.
Things come in spurts where, you feel like you're not doing anything for a while. And then you have like a month span where you're doing something all the time, all the way straight through. And then, I've had my fill, I think, and things are still on
Your
the
fill of
radar.
2025.
Yeah, I'm pretty booked up, honestly.
Yeah. Me too. I feel like just the way we started the year with like, oh, let me go to try this new experience, that new experience, and just like then events in the CrossFit and weightlifting world kind of take over for a while. But I like what you just said there. Like, you notice those times where it feels like you're not doing anything, and I feel like maybe that needs to be like a signal to like, hey, relax. Like during this time when it feels like you're not doing anything, just don't do anything this weekend or get extra sleep. This Saturday and Sunday, I woke up later than I would have liked to. But then I still accomplished like a lot. Like I ran through it in my head on like all the things that I did, personally and professionally yesterday. And I'm like, well, what are you so upset about? Like you did like, and I don't say this to brag. There are some days where I feel like I get more like work quote done than other people maybe do in a week. Like it's like, and like you do that multiple days in a row. It's like, hey, it's okay that you woke up later today. What did you want to do? More task?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday and kind of being like, man, I wasted like hours in the day. But then at the end of the day, I was like, well, you did all this. And then also you're going to be up till 2 a.m. watching Squid Game season 3. Did you know it started?
Oh, did it? I didn't realize that it came out.
Oh, Friday. Came out Friday.
Nice.
And I decided to start all of it last night at like 10 o'clock. and then I told myself, I'm like, you have to go to bed. Finish. I have 12 minutes left in episode 5, and then I have the finale.
Right.
So I'm going to finish that out today. But that's not allowed to happen until this evening because it's too sunny out there to have screens other than this one open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was also like, I was like, I have to take care of this now so it doesn't take over my life next week because they're too good, Miguel. I mean, what am I supposed to do here? I mean, like, I'm helpless. The episodes are just too good. The story is too good. I can't be held responsible for staying up and not finishing another episode when they hook you right at the end. It hooks in, and then the music starts playing. Next episode starts playing. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they know I'm okay with it. But before we got on, I actually just finished an experiment. I'm trying to, since we're going into the second half of the year, I'm trying to not ramp things up, but just see what I could like make more efficient and better, and maybe that will lead to ramping things up more. I walked to the Sakati Center and back for the first time. So I walked down there, went in there, did my thing, came back, and just to kind of see what the timing would be. It's about 23 minutes for me to get there. A lot of road crossing, so that slows things down too. And boy, I don't like that. So I'm trying to figure out like how can I get there with as minimal road crossing as possible. And so it took me 23 minutes. And when I got to the lobby from my front door to the lobby, it was 2,880 steps. And then by the time I'm done walking around the pool and everything and making my way back, I'd already gotten 3,000, and now I'm at 6K. So my goal is 7K for the day. I can walk to the Sakati Center, do my swimming, walk back, and that's more bang for your buck, back-to-back cardio. It's more consistent cardio instead of getting my steps with like, all right, 100 here, 200 there, 1,000 there. You know, just I feel like maybe that's better physically or exercise wise, you know, to just do it in big stretches like that. And then that just means the rest of the day, let's say if I did this early in the morning and then I had to go to work, I'm still going to walk to Albany CrossFit. So
Right.
now I'm just going to bank even more steps, and that guarantees me to probably be 10K plus on those days. So it was a good experiment.
Yeah, and I think it helps to stack things, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
you already want to go to the pool, so if you walk there, you already have your step goal. So yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it. Or if you know, like, well, what's the best way to get all these steps in? Then you make yourself go to the Sakati Center and then also swim while you're there. So yeah,
Yeah. And especially helpful on a Sunday where I don't have to go to the gym. And so that's a lot of steps lost there. Like that's it's from my door to Albany CrossFit in the parking lot, it's 1,200 steps.
right.
And so I'm losing out on 2,400 steps. If I go to the movie theaters, I know, you know, depending on the movie theater I'm in, it's about 1,500. So if I'm not going to the movies, like then I just have to walk around this apartment, you know,
Right.
or I have to find some place to go. So stacking it on the weekends will be helpful, and then during the week it'll just be, I think, better. Like get up, start walking, do my 30 minutes of swimming, walk back. That's calories burning. That's all the stuff. And then I don't wind up in a situation where I get home from barbell club. It's 9 o'clock at night and I still have 1,000 steps to go and let me walk around the living room, you know? So it just makes life, it maybe it is a little more inconvenient, you know, but like it makes life more convenient later on, you know? So yeah, successful experiment. I just have to, I should probably allot 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes back,
Right.
you know, just because of like, I can get stuck waiting for a line of cars to go or something like that, you know, just.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah. Are you taking the long way there?
This time I did do a longer way. I walked by the tennis. So my building is right in front of the tennis courts at
Right.
the high school here. So I walked past the tennis courts on the back end, and actually West Hartstone, our running route.
Right.
That's where the driveway is. So I walked through the towers to West Hartstone. Then I walked down towards Aviation, the traffic circle, and all the way down to the Sakati Center. What I think I'll do tomorrow is walk like I'm walking to Albany CrossFit, which is through the Macy's parking lot and past the Stay Bridge, and then walk through the traffic circle, because at least there's a walking lane there where drivers are supposed to yield to pedestrians standing there. So at least I'll have like a designated spot to cross and then cut straight through all the way down through Aviation, and there's Sakati Center.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I mean, I feel like if you go through West Hearthstone, between houses, they have like a path that brings
Is
you
there?
into the crossings. And then it's right at the point where like right to the left is Sakati Center.
Huh. Okay. I have to
feel
check
like,
that out then.
yeah, when I used to run, if I was going around the crossings, I would do that. So yeah, I would run like we're doing that mile loop around there. And I think at that like circle towards the end, in between one of like two of the houses, there's like a literal path that brings you straight through.
Okay. I need to check that out then. I wonder if it's a labeled path or anything.
I don't know if it's labeled, but it's not like it's, from what I remember, like it's a legit path as well. It's not like
Okay.
I'm just running through someone's backyard.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I did think about that, but I was like, I don't want to deal with all those houses and stuff
Right.
like that and people, you know. That would give me one traffic crossing, so that's nice. Because on that road through Aviation, there is a sidewalk, but it flips sides every
Yep.
now and then also it disappears after a while.
Mhm.
And you're like, well, I guess the sidewalk was a good idea until we got to this point. And then the town was like, we don't need a sidewalk anymore. No one's going to walk over here. So I'm just walking on the road. And you do notice, like, boy, like, there's a lot of room on the road. Why'd you have to, like, it feels closer. But like, but after taking my defensive driving course, Miguel, I don't have any faith on that people have 100% of their attention on the road or even notice me there,
Yeah,
Uh,
no, you should not.
no, no. I give everybody a wide berth. I don't trust any drivers, that I see. So yeah, no, that's good advice. I will check that out. I'll try that one tomorrow. Might
Yeah,
as well test that out. See, and if it's less steps, that's okay. Like we're still banking steps.
right.
It's still a large number of steps, especially during the week where, you know, just walking to Albany CrossFit most days guarantees me over 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you doing anything like that? Trying to compound your goals or check this off? All right, I'm going to go coach. A classic one for a coach. I'm going to go coach this class, and then let me get in a little workout right after, or do it before, and then coach your class, and then go home.
Nah, I can't do the coaching and also stuff there. At least not on. Maybe it's a Sunday thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm more of like timing, where like I know that this will take this amount of time, and while I'm doing this, I should also do this in between. And since I'm already doing all this stuff, like, yeah, just finish this or go on a walk or this or that. I try to
Yeah,
as much as possible. I mean, even like if I can leave work and go straight to the gym so I can do like extra stretching and all this stuff instead of barely making it home and changing and coming back and
and that's stress. Like
yeah,
it's the same end result, but leaving work, going home, barely making it there, rummaging around your stuff, because it's not like you laid it out before, which you could, and then rushing to the gym and getting in there. That's all stress. That's
yeah,
stressful. So at least we should all just be trying to schedule and book things to make it at least stressful as possible.
yeah,
You know, um, just chill with it. I was thinking about that yesterday too, because I've been thinking about people eating food and not eating enough and stuff like that, and the training's getting like harder for us now in barbell club. And I was thinking I used to do my training at around noon and then coach the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, assist at a 6 o'clock, do on ramp and 8:30 class, like a full like second half of the day coaching after having done my workout. And it's like, can you imagine finishing barbell club and being like, okay, but now your work day starts,
yeah, right,
and then and it's also you have to be on your feet and running around and demoing things and stuff like that. So it's like I was like, wow, I don't know if I could do that again. That was like a phase in my life where it's like just like a little machine. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I have that in me anymore.
yeah,
And I don't know. I don't need to find out anytime soon. The closest we get to that is like event day. So, but yeah, food. I don't know if you've noticed this. Some people in the barbell club, they're struggling. But I think I've traced it back to they're not eating enough food. And I don't know how you can get through this training without eating enough food. Are you, and I know we've gone through this many times in our barbell club. I'm like, did anyone eat food today? No? Oh, great. All right. No one. You remember those times when people would come in and then like everybody be like, yeah, I didn't eat anything today. Or my first meal right now is the candy out of the bin.
yeah,
Do you remember those days?
yeah, definitely.
Do you still do that? Do you still have days like that?
Not typically. Like if that happens, it's extremely like, I mean, that day is already a wash because that means so many other things just did not go to plan. That's
Yeah.
like only way that happens is like an emergency
Yeah.
of like, oh, I couldn't do like my normal lunch at work because I had to run and like get the dog or something or do this and that instead of my actual lunchtime. And maybe that's a day. I think there's only one day a week where I don't eat breakfast, but that's just because I'm like out and about earlier.
Mhm.
So I try to make up for it elsewhere. But yeah, things would just have to be perfectly lined up to disrupt everything else that I typically do. Um, Otherwise, like I said, I'm like 10 minutes late to work every day just because I'm like, I'm going to eat breakfast before I come here.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things where it's like It doesn't matter to the company whether you eat or not. So
Yeah.
you might as well eat and then still go get that work done, right? There's no sense on sacrificing your health, and there's a lot of layers to that when it comes to like people and jobs and stuff. But when did you first realize that it's not going to be sustainable, like with the either the type of programming we're doing, or just when the weights got to a certain heaviness, you're like, no, there's no way. Like, I have to put gas in this tank if I want to go.
I mean, even I wouldn't even say that it was because of performance and barbell club specifically, but I think like we all know like the basics of macros, or at least like it's become more widely known that like you need this amount of protein per body weight and like fiber and all this. And at least like I always try to go like a veggie with everything and this and that. So yeah, it was more of that. Just going like, oh yeah, I'm not even close to hitting. Like there are a lot of days where I'm like, did I even hit 100 grams of protein today?
Yeah,
And
which is
one of the
probably below maintenance.
yeah,
Like just like the bare bones amount you'd have to eat just to live and survive at your current body weight.
exactly. And it's like, oh, I'm not eating breakfast. That's a clear. I mean, there are people who's like, here's my 50-gram of protein breakfast, and I'm like, I don't need to do all that, you know. But like, just getting something in to be like, okay, this is a good amount here, this is a good amount here, even if I'm not hitting an exact number, because it's not like I'm not tracking, but just the
Yeah,
knowledge of like, all right, this breakfast, if I do 3 eggs plus like bacon or sausage or whatever, and then I don't know, like cheese and milk and all this stuff. And this should bring me around this amount. And just being able to like kind of piece it out throughout the day to know like that's a good amount.
yeah.
That was mainly my motivation, because I was just like, you're missing out so much.
And the nutrition helps you with your time investment in the training. If you really want to get ultimately all that you're putting into it, you're doing all this hard work, but then you're not eating enough food or eating in a way to promote growth. Then you're kind of just spinning two wheels at the same time. You're just kind of doing it. And then eventually it comes to a head when the workout is too hard or the weights get heavy enough. And that's what I think I've been seeing in this individual. We won't name names. But it's like, I've seen you do more and you've done these weights at certain times, but it's like, it doesn't, of course there's always a technique thing, right? But it's like, it just doesn't look like you have another gear for what this weight would require. And we are now at a weight where you can't mask your way through it. You can't fake it. We're at too high a percentage. I think 90%, maybe like 90% is like the limit. But once we start to get into like 91, 2, and plus, there's no faking it, especially maybe you felt you could have earlier on, but the back squats and the front squats, they're taking now. So it's like the bare minimum you had to eat, you had to spend it all on the squats. And then you had to maybe skirt by on the snatches. But Miguel, there's no cheating the clean and jerk, like the heavy clean and jerk, unless you have the technical and mental experience to do it. I do think some of you guys could do it, but like with this newer person, you're not going to be able to pull this off, and maybe if you get through the clean, you won't get through the jerk. There's too many barriers,
Yep.
on just like having that extra gear. I've done a meet before where I was completely gassed and didn't eat enough that day. And you could just feel it on the dip of the jerk where you're like, oh gosh, there's nothing. There's my legs feel like jelly and I have no snap, no push, no nothing. And I'm just gonna have to like arm it. I'm gonna try to get whatever I can squeeze out of my upper body to get this done. And then it doesn't go.
Yeah.
There's just no getting past it. We have too many barriers where the lack of fueling for the day will pop up,
Yeah. And I used to tell like it's different when like people know that I train and that I coach at the gym, and so sometimes I get questions and people tell me things. And one of the biggest things that I found that I tell people is like, you have to almost earn your workouts with fuel. Like a lot of people are like, I ate this, so now I have to go to the gym. But for me, I'm like, you honestly might not even earn the gym if you haven't eaten enough.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it has to work that way as well, where it's like, in order to be able to do worthwhile work in the gym, you have to be properly fueled, or else you're just taking away, like, you're just putting yourself at risk more.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like volume. And again, leading into other things, but like barbell club just by itself is a lot.
In
So
a
you have
very
to be able
short
to,
amount of time. Like
yeah. So you have to be able to fuel that. And then if you want to do anything else actively on your rest days, it's like you definitely need to make sure that every day you're properly fueled, or else it's just gonna take away slowly. It's the same thing as sleep. Where it's just like you can get away with it for a little bit, but eventually you're putting yourself in such a deficit that it's going to be very hard to come back from.
Yeah. I mean, sleep debt is an actual term, and I don't know if there's one in nutrition, macro debt, where it's going to take you a while to dig yourself out of that hole too. It does. It's not. I mean, I guess eating more, it is an easy fix, but you also have to give your body time to like,
Yeah.
all right, well, what do I do with it? What do you want? What's going on here? And or what do I want to do with it based off of what we've been feeling here versus what you want us to do with it. Like, okay, you've been perpetually starving. Well, all right, I don't know if I'm ready for muscle growth right now. So maybe we'll just hold on to it right in your love handles. We'll put on a little extra body fat. Thank you for the extra calories from when we're starving again.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, you're like, oh, well, actually, I would like to lose weight or gain muscle. When I was like, well, that's not what we've been doing. That's not
Right.
what you've been training your body and your mind to do. There's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period.
Yeah.
I like the way I used to train was different from you guys. You guys have all of your volume like truncated down into 3 days, in an hour and 45 minutes, we get a lot done. I used to do it every day, so instead of doing, multiple sets, 5 or anything, it's like, all right, we're just going to build up to a heavy single on the back squat or front squat every day, and to a high intensity. And the snatches were always just from the floor and singles. I didn't do any of the position work or anything like that. That was warm-up stuff. So it's like, but like, I would not have been able to survive. I was eating, quad meat Chipotle bowls and my macro new meals and pints of ice cream and other stuff. I was eating a lot of calories, and yet like I still like would have my pinky wouldn't straighten all the way by the end of the week, or it felt like the skin on my hands was sliding off, or just everything was perpetually sore all the time. And I'm like, I don't know. I would not have been able to do that under eating or not eating a lot every day, but yet they knew my face in Chipotle. When I walked in, they're like, quad meat, like end of the night, 8:30 at night, they knew my order, and they'd just start loading it up because I was in there every day because I was like,
Yeah.
I need those calories. I need that rice. I need this chicken and the protein. I would guaranteed feel like death or just not be able to do it. And then it would feel frustrating. Like that it's a frustrating feeling when you're trying to snatch and like your body just won't go, like because you don't feel like you have any energy.
Yeah.
That's a frustrating feeling. And it's one thing to feel it like if you're just exhausted from like just general workload. It feels different though when like you haven't eaten enough food or drank enough water. It's like a very distinct feeling. I don't know. If is it different for you versus sleep, nutrition, general exhaustion?
Yeah. I mean, they definitely go hand in hand. It's usually the same for me. I mean, if I'm eating well, I'm probably sleeping well also. Maybe in terms of just planning wise, where if I'm eating well, that means meals have already been prepared and parsed out. I'm good with them, and that part is done. So I'm not scrambling or running around, and it allows me to get to bed sooner, thus sleeping more.
Mm.
Um, but of course, there's always weekends, and you either have events or this and that. So maybe you're not cooking as much. Maybe you're getting home late, and when you're getting home late, you can't cook when you get home. So you're going out to eat somewhere, and you're just grabbing whatever. And yeah, then you show up on a day, and you just feel off. And like you said, it's a different feeling of like you're like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, but my body doesn't have it. So yeah, and that's really all it is. It's just
And yet here
frustrating.
we are.
You're like, okay, well, I don't know if I should call it today, but it's just not as good as it could be.
And part of the frustration too is like, there's no one else to blame. There's no other reason, like, I went to bed at 3 a.m. last night and I didn't eat hardly any food that day either. Like, this is all my fault. Like,
Right.
I did all of this, and now I don't have the energy to do the thing that like I actually want to do and I care about and I want to exceed in. I wonder if sometimes people bring in like nutritional habits from other sports into weightlifting, and then they get like a little bit of a rude awakening on like, whoa, like, that felt like, because I don't know, I never experienced this when I was just like a casual runner. So maybe I don't know if this is an actual thing, but like, when you're under fueled and like the bar on your back squats just feels extra heavy, you're like, wow, everything feels way heavier today. I just don't feel like I have the strength. But I don't know if people feel like that when they undereat and they go out for a run, or if they're just like conditioned for this activity and they still have an engine and they just go go go. Is it different? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess because
So
if I
you
went
get
off
away
like
with
my
it on your running, and then now you come into strength sport and you're like, well, I'll just do things the way I always do them.
right, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if I was ever high level enough in track to like really know the difference. And I mean, back then I was only maybe by my senior year, I was like 115 pounds. Like
Hmm.
I didn't need much. And I was a person who like a lot of seniors, they have a shortened schedule. So they'll just leave around lunch and they're done for the day. But I had a full schedule. But again, when most seniors aren't there, like I would just go to like the library or something for lunch or like do work or do whatever. So there were a lot of times where I would go through and I never ate breakfast during high school. Um, so I would go all the way through track practice until like 5 p.m. with no food in my system. Um,
Wow.
and still do
That's
like okay-ish. But I would say the main difference is probably football. Like when you're playing
Mhm.
football in the summer, I would say before the school season starts, because you do multiple sessions. So let's say, I mean, even this was like elective, but I go to the lift at 6 a.m. Um, until 7:30. Get home, you know that you have to eat something because you're going to be out in the sun at like 12, 1 o'clock, running, running plays, all this with the sun beating down on you. So you know you have to eat something. Then, in between breaks, like people would have food or this and that. Um, and yeah, it was just like you have to eat during those. Track was a little bit different, but that just might have also been a me thing. But I can definitely see how those things carry over.
Yeah.
Um, but weightlifting obviously is very, very different.
It's very physical. There's a lot of exertion going on. It's you pushing against resistance, versus just continuing to move your feet. You know. So I think we had a realization, this last week on, um, you know, this member of our club had a rough Friday the week before, and then that's where I was like, I think it's the food, like of course, again, it's heavy and it's there's technique things, but at some point, yeah, like your coaching radar has to be like, well, what else, like I don't
Right.
know, like I don't know if you have this part locked in, and especially with the way that we're doing things, like we we never flipped squats to the end of the session. That was my original, all the way back in the beginning of the year. My original intention was we would do half of it in the beginning as like a pre-exhaustive thing, lifting on tired legs, and then we would move it to the end and lift on fresher legs, and but it just stayed where, because like it was a good segue from the warm up into continuing to warm up. If we have to cut that warm up short, all right, well, the back squats and front squats will still get us ready, and it just, we have a good flow with it. But we've yet to this day switched it to the back. So I think another thing, that today was, we are always lifting on tired legs. Like you just PR'd your back squat. Congrats, 152. Um, During training as a final working set for the day. It's just the way the numbers played out. And then you had a great snatch and clean and jerk day on tired PR'd legs, the most you've ever squatted before, ever. And then now we're connecting with sets and stuff. So there's no reason to stop it. It's working, right? It's still working.
Right.
And then we didn't, I guess, I don't know if we had enough time under our belt to see at the regional, but I'll be interested to see once we like taper down and actually do move or don't have squats ahead of it, what happens on competition day. I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. It could be like, crap, we needed to all squat before we do our, like, I hope we're not getting into a thing where like we need to back squat before we lift,
Right. Yeah.
because we did have that incident during the deload where we did the other total that started off with the clean, and everybody felt like death during the cleans because normally we would have snatched and back squat before, which it's like, that shouldn't be a thing. You should be able just to clean. Like it's not a thing. We're not making it a thing. We shouldn't make it a thing,
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens when we're free of the back squats and front squats. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there's definitely the warm up element to it, but at the same time, I mean, I think for me personally, I feel it more in the snatches
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like, oh yeah, I did just back squat or front squat something crazy. Like, yeah, it makes sense that my legs are tired for snatches. Clean and jerk, for me at least, it's easier to come back from because I'm like, I know that my legs will always be there for cleans.
Yeah.
And my jerk has been feeling a little bit more secure. I mean, you have your days here and there, but I feel like clean and jerks you can kind of come back from, and the space is a little bit larger between them and the squats. But yeah, we'll have to see on meet day. Maybe it's like our warm-ups will have to be a little bit different. Like maybe we do put the bar on the back and hit like some back squats, at least to like
Okay.
feel that type of movement in like priming. Because I mean, like Justin does like extra stuff as well to like get his body to go through those mechanics, and we are loosening up. I think also not having the fan on early, like we're forcing our bodies to get warm in forcing them in these positions where eventually they like stretch out and like relax and all of these things. So maybe
We're at
that's
the state championships. People are like, did someone turn the heat on? And I'm like, just like,
yeah.
my team needs it warm in here.
But yeah, it will be interesting to see like if it's like the equivalent of taking ankle and weights off and all that. And like now we're like, oh, we're free. I can jump way higher. Like, but Yeah,
That's what
to be
I'm
seen.
hoping will happen. Like I'm hoping we haven't created some kind of a complex where it's like it's and the answer is no. You should still be able to do any independent lift. So like we show up and like I'll just use Alex as an example. Like Alex is like I just can't do it today. Well, and I was like, well, that's not good either. But it's not it's there's something else. Like it's not that you need this forever. We haven't broken you where like you can only snatch if you back squat first or front squat first.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So I don't know. I think right now it's not broke, so why fix it? So I don't see flipping it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think we'd still finish on time because the back squats are timed, so at least they have a definitive start and end. So as long as we are finishing the snatch within the 6:15 to 7 o'clock window there, I think we'll definitely get it all done. So it's not even a matter of can we get it all done type of a deal. I think it's just how does it affect the lifting. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when we'll find out. Well, actually, we'll find out at the Avitas meet, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That'll be the first test because I still think even during deload, squats are still first. I think, yeah, it might be. Or maybe I should switch it for deload, put them at the end because they'll be lighter anyways. I think it'd be better to throw everybody through a loop before the meet than at the meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We might have to do that. Good idea, Miguel. We'll do that. All right, we'll switch it for the deload. But so yeah, exciting stuff happening. You just PR'd your back squat. This coming week we have back squat and front squat heavy singles that we'll go for more on. And did you feel like you had more when you did that 152?
Yeah.
How like what do you think? Like if you were just like this, what would your next jump have been? 58 or straight to 60?
Well, it's different, I guess, because I wouldn't have done 52 probably.
Yeah.
I probably would have done 55 and then 60.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we were going off of that and like I'm not a bonus set person, but like if I was to take another, maybe 58. Maybe I don't know. No, yeah, I think 58 because most of my jumps were 5 kilos for a while. Um, so maybe I would have done like 53, 58
Yeah.
or something like that. But
And the only reason they were 5 kilos is just because we're doing more lifting at the top end of your percentages, and there's no need to take. And we have 9 sets to fill. So like
yeah,
bigger jumps earlier on, and then like okay, look how many times now you're squatting in the 30s and 40s, like trying to get as many of those as possible. And that's just a different way to do it than like let's say uh, uh, 3 sets at 143. Or instead
yeah,
we'll just do multiple sets in 30s and 40s and call it good. So we probably would have taken, and actually tomorrow we'll take bigger jumps to get up there.
yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe going like a 45 to a 55 and the 55 a first PR attempt. That way, just kind of skip those low 50s altogether. What do you think about that?
I kind of had a plan. I think, unfortunately, that I am finding benefits in more of those sets within the like 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I can do 10-kilo jumps up until maybe I'll do like a 45, 50, 55, 60 type of deal tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's perfect. That's 2 PRs right there.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, body does not feel currently as good as it did on Friday. So,
All right. All right. Well, every day is different, so we'll take them as they come. And there's a new opportunity to win another dinosaur because we have little tiny acrylic dinosaurs now, and if you set a PR, you get one. I think it's fun.
yeah.
Why not? An incentive. Hey, if someone in there is like, I want that dinosaur so bad that they push so much that they get a PR, it was worth it. It was
Yeah.
it was worth all the silliness and all it was to get it there. And I do think eventually that could happen, especially if it gets competitive. I'm like, well, you got 4 dinosaurs, I got 5 dinosaurs. You know, like they're like currency now. You know, like who's got what.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think next week's going to be fun. Maxing out,
Agreed.
and it'll be less pressure on the main lifts because we're just doing one set. You know, just
Right.
maybe a couple extra warm up sets, but just one heavy single, and that's just it's almost like a mini deload before the max out on those lifts. But also, we need more time for squatting. You know, we need like a solid, like almost 40 minutes of squatting. So then we got to get through the rest of it, you know, quickly. You know. Another thing I wanted to talk about, did I don't know if you've seen this. Oh, it's pretty cool. There's a company in China that's trying to incentivize its workers to exercise. And what they're doing is for employees that run 2 miles every day, you can get up to a 130% bonus on your salary for that month. That's pretty darn good. Like I did the math for myself, and I'm like, yeah, I want that 130% bonus. You know, like so it's like would that be enough for you if like your employer was like, Miguel, starting in July, you do 2 miles a day. At the end of the month, you get 130% bonus. Is that enticing to you? Would you do it?
Yeah. I mean, they would just have to say like $20 total, and I'd be like, I'm in.
That's it. 20.
Because I mean,
So
that's not crazy.
No.
Like my office does like a walking challenge every now and then. But I think there's like a prize for like who walks the most, and they like track it using whatever app. But like that one is different because it's like you get a prize if you've walked the most. And it's like I do a sport. I don't have time to just, as soon as I leave work, just walk for the rest of the night, you know?
Yeah. You should get credit for
But
your
if they're
sport,
like,
you know.
yeah, if it's like, here is the number that you have to hit and then you get something, then I'll do that all day. I'll figure out a time for it. Yeah, and 2 miles is reasonable as well. That's not like egregious. Again, it's like a time thing where I'm not gonna wake up at 5 a.m., walk like my 10,000 steps before work, and then walk more and try to walk on my lunch break. Like that's too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 miles for sure. I'll do that. No problem.
For someone who maybe a mile takes 10 minutes, that's 20-ish minutes of their day, you know. But yeah, it is interesting. I wonder if there's deeper information on like, okay, well, maybe they have tiers too. Like, all right, if you just do 1 mile, you know, because you also don't want your employees to get hurt just all of a sudden going from 0 to 2 miles every day, just out there. Everyone in the office has shin splints, you know.
Yeah.
And they end up stopping and they start calling out. Like it seems like it could have a negative effect too. But it says their goal is to build a healthier workforce, and employees who log 100 kilometers, about 62 miles each month, walking, running, or hiking. Okay, yeah, so you can walk or hike it. That's very that answers my last question. So it's very accessible now. Qualify for a bonus worth 130% of 1 month's salary, paid once a year on how consistently they hit the monthly targets. Lower mileage still earns partial rewards. Hey, there you go. And then the chairman says that they even offer free running shoes to someone who hits 50K per month for 6 months straight. So they're gonna, if you keep doing it, you're gonna get free shoes, so you can keep getting better and better. Not a bad deal.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And so your company does something like that. It seems like an easy thing a lot of places could do just to, Maybe even like you get a lunch break, but also you get like you could take an exercise break, and that's where you can like try to do this goal to get yourself more money. But you're not allowed to like just go sit in your car on taking the exercise break. It's either work or work, you know, because people would abuse it. You know, they're like, well, I don't want the 130%. I'll just have time where I'm not doing work. I think it'd be fair to say you have to use it for exercise only, you know?
Yeah, I mean, again, with the way that they're doing it, I wouldn't even say that that's necessary. Um, but I mean, like my office has our gym, um, and people definitely use that. I don't use it again just because it's like I already do a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but like people definitely use it. Like people will go to lunch and then it's on that first floor. So the lunchroom is right there, and they'll afterwards they'll take like a little walk, or people will fully use it like to lift, and they have like free weights and machines there, so people fully use it.
Oh, you should do like a corporate CrossFit with Miguel. Like you could have like a class once a week or a couple times where like you could put them through little CrossFit workouts.
We
No?
did yoga for a little bit. Um, no, I'm okay.
Oh, you don't want to be
But
Coach Miguel at the office.
no, I do not. I definitely don't.
They would never after a while they would never leave you alone. Like
Well, yeah, that's the
you'd
thing.
be
It's
at your
like,
desk and be like, should I eat this? And you're like, I don't know, Google it. You know?
but yeah, I mean, the way that they formatted this one as well, it seems like okay, you don't just get a payout, because a lot of like companies will do like a 2 month or 3 month challenge. Like this one is like you essentially have to be consistent for a year.
Yeah.
They're not just looking at your total that you got, but they're seeing like were you hitting these totals every month, and then that's how they're deciding it. Um,
And that's a huge bonus waiting for you though at the end of the
yeah,
year. Like and not only that, like all right, let's say you work at this company and you start in January. It's going to be hard, you know, like even just doing the walking part, and maybe you like start off with the partial participation. Like, all right, I walked a mile and I did that all through January, and then it starts getting a little easier. You do a mile and a half, and then you're up to that 2 miles, and then you start like maybe doing more than the 2 miles. Like even though that's like all they're tracking, you're like, well, I'm enjoying this now and I'm seeing some results, and you start doing 5 miles or 3 miles or whatever. You you do like a 5K race. You just like after like 90 days, your life could be completely transformed. You have this new holiday, and then here comes the end of the year, and your employer's like, here's all this extra money for all that improvement in your life you just did. We literally just paid you to get healthy and look better naked and feel better and breathe better and have a better life. Like that's freaking amazing.
yeah.
I think it's a great idea. Like, could you imagine if like every single place had a thing like this, on some kind of incentive thing? Because like it's up to the employees to do it, right?
Right. I would say that I would be the dissenter though.
Oh, what are you
Because I
dissenting?
would, again, I would be like, I already do a sport.
Well, maybe you
So
could have a thing where it's like,
I
hey,
would be like,
okay, your
I
activity
already do
log.
something. So how do I log this? Like, I'm not walking, but I'm lifting. Like, how can I fudge these numbers so that I don't
Yeah.
have to do as much of this thing, because it's like I'm actively doing something. But that's just me. Also, yeah, I would be like,
Or
well,
let's say you did that, and then your employer's like, okay, well, what competitions you got coming up? I'll pay you X amount for PR competition, or a gold medal, whatnot. Like, would that change the way you like went after lifts and stuff?
yeah, 100%.
If your employer's like, oh, if you win states, this is what's waiting for you. Well, all right, what's the minimum amount that they would say that would drive you to like just go crazy at states?
I only need like $20. Like,
Just $20.
Like sponsored athlete is sponsored athlete, you know? Obviously like more than that, but you
Yeah.
know,
So yeah, I mean, so yeah, if you would be willing to go to dark places and put unknown weights on the bar and like go under those weights and hold on to them and you're helicoptering around the platform for $20. Imagine if they were like, Miguel, you win states, this company is going to give you a 10 grand bonus and whatnot. Like,
but yeah, I mean, that is literally what a sponsored athlete is, where these companies are like, hey, cool, we like you as a person, all this stuff, or like you already work with us. Here's your performance bonus. Like it's one thing, like we'll support you somewhat, but now like you hit these numbers, then you get this bonus. Then that changes things because
yeah,
now I'm fully like, I'm as soon as I hit barbell club, one, at that point, if they tell me like you win state, I've already won states. So now I'm working backwards in my head
yeah,
where I'm like, they're gonna pay me, which means I need to win, which means I have already won. So now I'm not even cooking my own meals. I'm getting everything sent to me and I'm making sure that they're macro friendly and all this stuff so that by the time I leave barbell club, I get home, I already have a meal ready. I didn't even have to cook it. I eat and I go straight to bed
you're
so
not
that I'm
up
making
till 2
sure,
a.m. reading the Hunger
nope,
Games.
nope, not
No time
until
for it.
after I get that bonus. Because it's like, yeah, now I'm a sponsored athlete.
Yeah, it's a different mindset.
Yeah.
It's is there any? I wonder if there's a way to I mean, I'm paying you guys in dinosaurs, in little plastic dinosaurs. This is our first foray into like you can win a prize, you know. Um, and it's funny how like it does kind of change. Like there's like a little chemical thing in your brain that like if you do this, you get that. So it's like it's funny. Like everybody laughed, but everybody was also like, "What about that red one? I see that orange one in there." Like, and then you see other people got it. Like everybody saw you pick the first dinosaur out of the bag. You know, they didn't say anything, but we know they saw it. You know, so it just changes things, right? On like when you can get stuff. I know some teams will, which not our team, but some teams will pay their athletes to do well or things like that. Or Glenn Penley used to make bets with everybody. It's like, okay, whoever lifts the highest percentage of their max snatch today wins this $100, and he'd have $100 on the table and whatnot. Do you think that they are going to war for that? Yes, they are. For that $100, you're going to be trying to PR, and then it's all win-win, right? When three of you PR, it was worth $100.
Right.
Now I don't have that $100, but I have a little plastic dinosaur to give you. You know, so it changes things. I think I think it's incentivizing people with cool stuff to better themselves through their health and fitness. It's a good idea. I can't see really a downside of it unless someone, of course, takes it too extreme. You know, like I guess it's good that it's 2 miles where it's like, all right, there's a cap on it, and that's going to help you to stop the person who's like, well, no, as soon as I get out of work, I'm going to hop on that treadmill from 8 p.m. till 2 p.m. and get 20 miles every night and take it to a unhealthy place, because the
Yeah.
goal is to get as many as possible, not just to be consistent. I think consistency is the key, right? Like you kind of can't go wrong with building consistency, but you can go wrong when it's like AMRAP. Do as much as you can.
It got a little toxic, our walking challenge at work,
Ooh,
especially from the outside looking in of like, oh no. Like especially since we are like in fitness space, like I heard just the worst things of like one, it's like people get very competitive and then they're like, there's no way that they're waking up that early and doing this. And then they're also
doubting
doing
each other.
more. They're like, now it's just not even like there was a certain point where it's like, oh, you can't even catch the person in first place because they're
Yeah,
just logging so many. And then there's like, hey, this isn't sustainable. And then there's just so much going on that, yeah, I think doing like 2 miles consistently hit this total every month and there's no payout until the end of the year is done. Like, I
yep.
think that is the best way to do it.
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny. Like it's just like our rowing challenges at the gym. It's always a good idea. But then you get the one person who has a rower at home and they just, or the one person whose work schedule isn't like everybody else's. Like they don't have, or they're retired. They don't have to work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then they come in at 5 and they can get 30 minutes of rowing done. There, you know, that one person just in the first week essentially wins the challenge. Then it's like it demoralizes the whole group. Well, then why should we keep rowing? Oh, well, there's the second prize of max, you know, of max meters, but that person that already got the first to 100,000 is 90,000 ahead of the next person. You know, there's it if we ever do that challenge again, that's the fix we need to make for it, where you can't run away from it just because you have the luxury of more time or you have a rower at home, you know. Because I mean, you win it for yourself, but you also ruin it for everybody else. Like the challenge is done. So we've seen that happen at our gym with these things too. You know, it's got to be something that everybody can do. Everybody's on the same playing field, and somehow, like just continuously doing it is the main thing that you want to do. So, yeah, I think this is a fantastic idea. I think I'm seeing more and more like things like this of companies doing something similar, or like what your company does to encourage healthiness. And I know like MVP has all these health incentives. Like I just got an email about all these like different fitness and health related programs that are paired with MVP. So it's through your insurance, and you could do this if you want. You could do that if you want, or even just being reimbursed. You know, the health insurance will reimburse you at the end of the year for X amount of dollars on your membership to a gym. You know, I think it's a great way to tackle a difficult problem. You know, you want people to work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. sitting at a desk all day, but then you're also upset when they call out sick or they have health problems and other things. But there's no way around. Like I know on days where like a Saturday or Sunday where I'm just doing a lot of computer work, I could just only get like 200 steps for the day. Like if I'm just here in my apartment, like walking to this desk from over, like that's nothing. Like, so I can wake up, make my coffee, come here, 50 steps max. And then I'm here for hours on end. And so if I don't make that effort to go and get thousands of more steps, I'm barely moving that day, you know? And that's 5 days a week for some people. No wonder everyone's back hurts, or you're just, you know, like, so I think this is great. I really like this idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk shy about implementing this for Albany CrossFit now. So yeah, it's really cool. And I think, you know, maybe more instances of stuff like this will pop up. I like how I kind of feel like they planned it out pretty perfectly, that there's partial rewards. You can walk, run, or hike. That's super cool that they're like, hey, if you want to take this walking out into nature, that's fine too. You could do that too. You know, so you could be on a treadmill, or you could just go on a hike during your lunch break or whatever it is on a Saturday, Sunday. And then you can only imagine if someone starts doing this and they have a family, this might start to trickle into the family. Like, well, hey, let's go on a hike Saturday morning because this is going to help dad get X amount of money at the end of the year, you know, and dad's feeling good or mom's feeling good. Like, I can't see any way of this failing, you know, other than people not.
This is very well thought out for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's a nice touch that the company too will be like, hey, Miguel, 6 months, you've been hitting it every single time. Here's a pair of Nike running shoes or whatever it is on us. But buy the one you want, you know, we'll pay for it. And that doesn't even come out of your 130% bonus, you know, like, and I don't know, if I was working for this company, I'd be like, hey, they kind of care about me a little bit. I will answer this last email, or like, you know, be more enthusiastic about working here, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, cue the music for my anti-capitalist corner here for a sec. But I mean, it's very smart. Like this company is very smart. If we want to take it there, I mean, I think the way that culture is shifting and everything with like how remote work was working for a while and then the shift away from that and people are back in the office. I think people are very aware of the fact that sitting at a desk all day is not sustainable.
Yeah.
And it's a pendulum of like what you're willing to deal with. And eventually, like as your body aches, your mood changes, all of this, you're ending up here. And one of those things that changes when people get very unhappy is a job. They'll look and
Yeah.
they're like, what do I spend most of my day doing? Oh, work. That has to be the reason that I'm unhappy. But if you have a workplace that has a challenge that you're like, you're getting outside, your mood is going to slightly move. And you're going to forget about the fact that work still might suck, but you're like, but they are doing this cool little challenge. Like it
Yeah.
takes away from the fact that eventually people are going to realize, like, oh, yeah, work is what's doing all this bad stuff to me. So if a company can figure out a way to balance that, that's the best way to retain employees as well, is to make them forget that they hate working.
Yeah. I mean, none of us like to work. It's it's necessary for society, but it's not really necessary for being a human being.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a bird can just fly anywhere it wants. There's no restrictions. You and I actually can't go in the air. Like the air is off limits for us as citizens of the earth. It's been deemed that we can't go there. Um, so it's like now we won't go down a whole rabbit hole of like, are we free or not, like that, the whole thing. But it's like meaningful work is important to people. Like if sitting at a desk all day typing in numbers, you're not even sure it's doing anything, and no one knows it's just the same thing over and over. It's if it doesn't feel meaningful, it's hard.
Yeah.
Versus you have people who work with their hands. I feel like they're a little more like, oh, I made this bread. Like I
Right.
have this skill. Like I'm
It's more
working with my
human for sure.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus being stuck at a desk all day in fluorescent lighting. And there's been so much coming out the last X amount of years on all this stuff. Like Kelly Starrett has a book, Sitting is the New Smoking. It's I have not read it. I should read that. That's it, he came out with that a long time ago, but that's like the new catchphrase, and it's totally true. It's like you can, like I went through 2 years of like not moving around that much, and then when I did, it was either assisted, either with a pipe or heavy painkillers and both. And
Mhm.
now that I'm like beyond all that, I'm like, I feel free. And so I'm like walking to the Scotty Center and I'm like, man, like this wouldn't have been possible during that time. But like, boy, am I grateful to be out here. And like, after I completed it, like, I feel like rejuvenated, like in the day. Like I woke up and I'm like, when you wake up, you're a little, you're like, all right. I was up till 2 a.m. watching Squid Game and whatnot. But after that walk, I'm like, I feel freaking amazing, because that's what exercise does for you, and now it's like I'm doing things where it's like, all right, I hate driving to Trader Joe's. Like it's so annoying, that parking lot. But Trader Joe's is about the same walking distance as Albany CrossFit. And so
Yep.
I literally told myself last night, because I walked by Trader Joe's after the movies. I was like, you know what? I'm not driving to Trader Joe's anymore. Like, unless it's like snowing and stuff like that, and I absolutely need to go to Trader Joe's, I'm only walking there. I'll bring my backpack. I can put my stuff in there, and then it takes me 10 minutes to get to Albany CrossFit. It'll take me 10 minutes to get to Trader Joe's. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'll bank my steps. So like everything I do now is like, oh, well, that's worth this many steps. Let me go, or I'll get more steps. And it just starts to change the way you do so many things, like most of the time I'll eat a meal and I'll try to plan my meal or purposely go for more steps after eating. Like
Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot of instances now where I'll eat a heavy meal and then just sit. Like I gotta move now. So like I've just rewired my brain this whole year on being like, it's time to walk. Let's.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll walk to Albany CrossFit when no one's there because like it's an easy route. I know the route, so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know how many steps I can get. But something like this, like with this, this is a paper company, the Guangdong Pengpu Paper. that's a fun name to say, but they're just a paper company. What if they're like The Office? Like it's like
Right.
Dunder Mifflin in China right now. So I don't know. I feel like if I ever like had to work in an office, or if I was like an office manager or something, like I would want some kind of a fitness thing built into my business, or a health thing, and just make it super achievable like this. So cool. And hey, you don't even need to work at this place to do this. Like walk a mile, 2 miles every day, and then give yourself a bonus at the end of the year. Do you do that? Do you do that all where you're like, all right, it's the end of the year. I did all this. You know what? I'm going to treat Miguel right now. You've earned this, Miguel. Do you do anything like that?
No, but I mean, it's similar to like, it's funny because my birthday was like in the middle of the week, and everyone was like, "What are you doing for your birthday?" And I was like, "What I always do on Thursdays," because I'm like, other than work is necessary. So it's like I'm going to go to work, but other than work, like outside of work, I only do what I want to do. So I'm not usually like a treat person because I'm like anything I want, or yeah, like I don't really want things too much. Like I mean there's like clothing and whatever, but it's like I'll just buy it as it comes, and then I don't know, I am like with maybe weightlifting stuff currently where I'm like, all right, let's finish this next meet or something, and then we'll look into getting new shoes or getting new knee sleeves or something like
A new
that.
bar.
Like, right. Like, but otherwise I'm like, no, I'm already doing what I want to do. So, it'll just add to.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I view it like, well, it's already mine. I don't need it now. I'll just leave it at Hannaford. That's where I keep it. Like I keep,
Yeah.
I keep it at Hannaford, and then eventually I'll pick it up. When I need it. Unless like it's an urgent thing. Like I need toothpaste, so all right, I have to get that. Otherwise, I'm just storing my toothpaste there at Hannaford for when it's needed. One thing that I've been like waffling back and forth on is one of those walking pads with like maybe like a desk extender thing. I had a Zoom meeting with someone last week, and they had one, and then like it came back in my brain. I'm like, so the whole time they're just like walking, and then I'm sitting here, and I'm like low key jealous because I'm like, I'm not getting any steps right now, and I have to do this many steps today, and I'm just watching them do their steps while we're talking about business, and I'm just like, I wish I could do that, So I've been thinking about getting one of those. And I'm like, you know what? But it's summer out. You don't need a walking pad,
Yeah.
I survived the winter early on because this was a new thing. So like, let's just get and build the habit. Now I don't want anything that's going to take away from me going outside. Like I don't want to get like 10K steps here on a pad and then start to go back into driving to the gym. Like I would rather just walk to the gym because it is different out there versus in here.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I'm like, you know what? I keep moving the goalpost. If you finish this whole year of your 7K goal, then you're allowed to get yourself a walking pad for next winter. So it's like, because like I don't know, we're almost to July. I could quit. You guys could be like, hey, what happened to the walk thing? I'm like, well, I got bored of it. I don't want to do it anymore. In August, I could quit. Who knows what could happen? Just because we've made it this far doesn't mean it'll continue. Something catastrophic could happen. Hopefully not. But I'm moving the goalpost that if I complete this entire year, then I want to get a walking pad, which means I might change the goal from 7K to like, let's say 10K, because now it's like, all right,
Right.
well, I got my TV on, I'm watching some podcast, I'm on the computer, and I'm just stepping for hours, you know? So that's kind of like my long-term plan with it. I'll reward myself at the end of the year, but only if I've shown myself this is a serious thing. Because if I get through this year, I don't know why I would ever stop.
Yeah. And then even from there, you can go, all right, I know I can do this many outdoors. So maybe like within the daily requirement, be like, this is how many steps I have to hit outdoors. Or like
Yeah.
max how much you can get on the walking pad.
Yep, definitely. And that's getting easier and easier because I know exactly how many steps it takes me now to get from all the places I normally go.
Yeah.
And I have all these like little things where it's like, all right, if I'm going to go to the movies, I have to get this many steps before the movies. That way, on my return trip back, we'll pass through 7K.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, all right, it's that compounding effect. I had a good time. I watched Megan 2.0, and then on my way back, I'm still winning. Like, oh, look at that, hit 7K, and then
Yeah.
I could just come back home and then settle in for the evening and start watching Squid Game. You know, like that's exactly what happened last night. But it's like I have to set it up like that, which it's very satisfying when it works out that way.
Right.
Like it would suck if I didn't do the work beforehand, get done watching Megan. It's 9:30 at night, and then I'm like, I need 2K. Oh, that sucks. Because then I do start to notice I'm like, all right, if I walk from here to there, that should be a lot of steps. And then I look and it was like 300 steps. I'm like, darn it.
Yeah.
And it's literally the equivalent of looking at the clock when you're holding like the hollow body or the plank. Every second ticks by so slowly. Or like I'm like, I just walked a mile. 50 steps? How? Like, and then I start like playing the mental math. I'm like, yeah, but when I'm at home on the phone and I walk around my apartment in like 5 minutes on a phone call, I get this. It doesn't make any sense anymore because I'm paying too close attention to it. But yeah, cool stuff. And any way we can build that into what we're already doing, you know, keep getting better. One more thing I want to talk to you about. So you hit CrossFit class yesterday. How'd that go?
Good. Yeah, I guess the big thing is like just noticing again that the cardio isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
Obviously for me, it's like even that workout on paper is like, that should be a good one for you. And it was. And it's also interesting, like looking around class and going like, I know where I should be. And, you know, even if that is true, how it feels for me as I'm doing it is a little bit different. So yeah, I kind of went into the workout also because we've been talking about kind of moving faster, being a little bit more intense, like being a little bit more risky. And I kind of went with that strategy and then kind of fell off, which I was okay with. I kind of wanted to do that of like, just
you got to
see
do
how
that.
long you can hold this. But yeah, that's the main thing of just like, yeah, I'm not as quick as I used to be.
Yeah. Well, Josh said you went unbroken on the snatches, right?
Just on my first round.
Oh, okay. All right.
The plan, I mean, yeah, in the whiteboard brief, he said like 5s would be okay. And in my head, I was like, okay, well, I was hoping to do as many unbroken sets as possible. But I did unbroken that first set. My first round was under a minute. And then immediate fall off. But
for both the snatch and the burpees.
Right.
So the workout was 5 rounds, 15 hang power snatches at 95-65, and 15 bar facing burpees.
Yeah. So that first round was under a minute for me. And the second round, I brought one of the snatches down like just wrong. So I like bumped myself back like 2 steps, and I think I
Oh,
was at 5 reps. So I just dropped the bar, just because like my rhythm was off. And then I think I did. So that round, I think I did 5, 6, 4 for the snatches. But then
mhm.
the rest of the rounds, I went 10, 5. Um,
Okay. That's
but the
that's pretty good.
yeah, but the burpees were just slow. Um, and I love bar facing burpees, but they were just not as quick as I usually or as I remember myself doing them. Again, like looking around the room, it's like I'm still moving quicker than other people, but it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't my quick.
Yeah. Josh and I talked about the workout yesterday. Because I was like, whoa, big class, and then I wanted to know like how the newer people did as well. And he told me you and Mike's times, so in the 13 range, right?
Yeah.
And then we started to talk about the stimulus, 7 to 12. And from what I saw on the leaderboard, no one hit the stimulus.
No.
And so that was one. So then we got into a conversation. Okay, well, Mike and Miguel probably had the best chance to hit it, but you guys are both out of shape CrossFit wise. So
I told Mike after, I was like, that is a workout. I think it is possible for me and Mike both to do that in under 10. As I was
yes,
doing that, there were opportunities because every rest that I took legitimately was around 20 second, like 20, 30 seconds. Like
mm-hmm.
I was bent over, not moving a good amount. And Mike is the same too, where I would look
Yeah.
over and like we're resting for a long time.
So yeah, so if you guys are more CrossFit conditioned, you could definitely get that done sub 10. I have no doubt. So the stimulus, it said 7 to 12, and you're trying to get the snatches done in 45 seconds to a minute, and you can do 1 to 3 sets, so five or fives, right? And the weight is light to medium. So Josh and I just got into a discussion on, okay, is all of that info kind of sending mixed signals on what it should be? If you finish each movement in 45 seconds and maintain that for 5 rounds, that's 7.5 minutes. So okay, that's super fast. And no doubt whoever um, tested it or whatnot finished probably sub 10. Like they probably
Yeah.
horsed right through that thing. But the thing is, for our regular members, in order for them to do that, they're going to have to scale the numbers and the weight. And when people see 95, 65, they think about it way differently than if they see 315, 225 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it all of a sudden becomes too achievable. And I think they always chronically are going to go 10 to 20 pounds heavier than what they should actually do. And the way I explained it to Josh is like, this would have been a day where I probably wouldn't have said light to medium, because in my head, if it says 95, it better be light. Like
Yeah.
I only describe 95 as light because I know if I tell all of you light to medium, that medium, you're all going to go towards medium and you're all going to be really, really slow, because we're trying to keep the intensity, trying to get it within the stimulus. And I used you as an example. Your power snatch is like 95 kilos. So 95 pounds was about 45% of your max, your known max, right?
Mhm.
So that's a light percentage. But then you have someone else in class who's using 55 pounds, but I've only ever seen them power snatch 85 pounds or 75 pounds, and it was for one, let alone stringing it together for 75 reps. So that person using 55 pounds, they should be probably using 35 pounds, or
Mhm.
45 pounds. It should be crazy light. And this is going to be a hard workout because you just did 15 power snatches. And then now you're going to go through those burpees. And if you do get it done in 12 and a half minutes, that's way harder, or going to be harder in a different way than getting it done in 15:50. So it's like we needed the weights to go down in that. And I don't know if that verbiage helped communicate that. And then I also told Josh, I looked at the practice round, and the practice round was like 3 or 5 hang power snatches and 2 bar facing burpees. And I was like, what? I don't know if that's a typo or what, but I don't know what we were all supposed to get out of that practice round. Like, if you look at the lesson plan, Josh added in burpees. But if you look at the lesson plan, the only time you were going to do burpees was in that practice round, 2 burpees over the bar. So, and then I looked at the reps on the barbell practice, and the highest amount of reps with all the barbell reps was 5. How are you supposed to know outside of round 1 what 15 power snatches going into 15 burpees is going to feel like? And then you are not the same going into round 2. Like, you may have gotten the first round done in a minute, but then all of a sudden, like, you're going to just hit the brakes on it. So now you have a weight that's heavy in comparison to your overall ability, and you didn't get to feel any of it out. So Josh and I was talking to Josh. I'm like, maybe we need to do more prove it type of things. Like, all right, it's 15 reps. Okay, let's do with just the empty barbell. I do this all the time in my classes. Give me 21 thrusters with just the empty barbell. That's what 21 feels like. Now we're going to add weight. It will start to feel like that, but it's going to get harder because we're going to add weight. And that might change your plan for the workout. Or, all right, working weights on the bar, give me 15 overhead squats. You said you could do it. Do it. Well, we're not wasting anything for the workout. We're going to take a rest after this. And then you see the people like, oh, you stopped hitting depth after 8 reps. Oh, you can't do it. You had to put it down. That lets me know, the coach, and lets you know, the athlete, bump it down for the workout. Yep. We're about to do 5 more rounds of that thing. No, we got to bump it down. But it just didn't seem like there was an opportunity for that in the way the hour was programmed.
And there's something even with the way that they have these expectations, right? Of like, the second my mind changed, like, I had a plan going in of like unbroken until I can't, and then 10-5. Mm-hmm. Hearing, like, you can break these up into 5s, I think changes your mindset as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's different because we've talked about like how everyone's mentality is like, break it early, save yourself quick. But it's like, we're not moving quick. What are we gaming for? Because if your idea is like,
you're moving slow and saving yourself from more slow movement.
And it's like, people do like, okay, if I did it unbroken, I would need a little bit more rest going into the burpees. Or like, if I do 10-5, I'll do a larger break after that 10 before my 5, and I don't want to take that long of a break. But you're doing 5s, you're probably still doing a long break, doing another 5, doing a long break, then doing 5, doing a long break before the burpees. And it's like,
now
we're just
you're finishing the snatches, instead of being closer to 45 seconds, you're closer to a minute. And then if we were close to a minute on round 1, it's going to be a minute 15, then 90 seconds. Now 2 minutes on the bar, you're there. Yeah, it changes.
We're just not, and I because I'm including myself in this, like, we're just not the gamer types. Because I know the second I drop the bar, nothing is going on. So I might as well hold on to the bar for as long as possible, knowing that my breaks are going to be the same no matter how many reps I've just done.
Yeah. And if we're doing the snatches and we both finish at the same time, and I see you put your hands on your knees, I'm going to put my hands to the floor and plop down to try to coax you into like, oh, well, James is already moving on to the burpees. Even though I know you're going to do them faster, I sensed your weakness in the moment, and now I'm going to see if I can just force you to go. Like that's a fun. I feel like it's a fun part of the WOD on just being aware of the left and right. And me and Mike both finished the snatches, and I see him grab his thighs, and like, I could do that. And I could use that as an excuse to do the same thing, or I could be like, hey, he's going to finish the burpees probably before me anyways. But let me see if I could take him down to my dark path and then plop down and get up and then hop over the bar. And then I guarantee you, if he's paying attention or if you're paying attention, you'd move sooner, right? Like if you were going to rest 20, 30 seconds and I was next to you and we both finish the same time and I go down and then Mike goes down, are you going to still resting or are you going to go down?
Yeah, no. And that's exactly how it was going. I mean, towards the end, I want to say the last 2 rounds, it was like finish your last snatch, drop the bar, and then hands on the floor. And I was going, because my breaks were very long on the bar facing burpees. But I was doing, you have to come back. So I would hit one, jump over, immediately hit the next one, jump over. And then I'm like, now take a second, breathe. And I was like, you have to hit 2s at least.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if you get into a thing where you're getting down, you're hitting the floor, you're laying there, now you're hopping up, you're jumping over. And it's like, I turn as I jump. And when I was getting tired and just trying to just do the whole thing, like I would jump over and I still be facing the opposite way. I do my little walk to get back. I plop on the floor. I sit there for a bit, but I'm like, hit 2s, just make sure you come back, stay standing, stay aware, and then hit another 2, hit another 2. Then at the end, if you can hit 3 to finish it off, then you're good. But you got to change it up. And it was
to do that thing where, let's say if I was doing that, you hit the first burpee, jump over, hit the second burpee, jump over, and then it's not a pause, but it's like a step loop. Like I'm going to take a step around. When I turn around, we go down. Here's the next 2. It's like you kind of need that like walk off the pain, like second or 2, but then you turn around and it's right back on tempo versus, cause like, it always bothers me to stop, just a full stop, like just stand there. And now to get going, at least I can use the momentum of that, like walk and turn around to like fall and start the next burpee, or at least walk to the next station, like get off the rower and just suck it up and just walk to the pull-up bar and then take a second and then hop up and do the pull-ups or the toes to bar, whatever, and then walk to the next station and then at least get there versus like, all right, let me towel off and grab a drink and do this and that. And then it's like, no, there's no time for any of that stuff. So I think we need, well, one, I don't know. That was just odd to see that in the lesson plan, 5, and 3 or whatever it was. It's like, I don't know what, outside of like making sure the spacing is correct. Everybody's got room to lay down for burpees. I don't know what that part in the lesson plan was supposed to accomplish. And it would be nice if they put it in there, like, especially for something like that. Hey, we're looking for logistics here on this practice round. Make sure everybody's got a barbell. No one's going to crush their feet, anything like that, right? Or on this one, you're trying to make sure they can complete this work, this half work, in X amount of time. And if they can't, scale them down. But looking at it, I'm like, I don't know if that did anything, and Josh didn't even use it because Josh saw it and it's like, I don't see any value in doing that. And other than I'm going to burn 2 minutes right now. I think it'd be better to make them do 15 burpees, make them do 15 power snatches, and because I asked Josh, I'm like, when you do that in my classes, does it help you figure out the WOD more? And he says, even though I hate doing it, yes, I like, there's no surprise now. I know what 21 thrusters is going to feel like. We did all the practice and then you had me do 21 of them with the empty barbell. And then sometimes you might decide to go lighter. Like maybe because you might come in being like, it's a 95-pound day. Then I have you do 21 with the barbell and you're like, it's a 75-pound bar day,
Right. Yeah.
Some people, you just don't know, it's hard to know unless people like in Barbell Club, you guys know how all this is going to go. You're so well versed into it and we train it so consistently. Next door, when I can't even tell you the date of the last time we did heavy power snatch. And then
Mhm.
were all of these people there, or was it only 2 people in that class? And what is your max? And you're going to use 80% of your max for 75 reps today, super fast, paired with burpees. And so it's the reps and the weight. We gotta that's one of my missions this next week is really not force the issue, but just like show have people like prove it earlier on. Um, we have those people who are like, well, I don't want to waste it on the practice round. It's like, you're not wasting it because this is still training. It's like that's like saying all the back squats we do before the final one is a waste. It's like, no, that's all compounded training over time. You need to do all of those. You need to get those reps under your belt, and it's like, wait a minute, we haven't done bar muscle ups in 6 months. Why are you worrying about an extra set of bar muscle ups? Like, it's not like you're practicing them enough consistently during the off weeks and days to make it where you're like, what, I'm good on the bar muscle ups. I know what I need to do. These things, they just don't pop up often enough, and people's schedules don't align perfectly for them to hit them consistently. Right now, I feel like everybody's schedules are very varied, and our programming is very varied. So it's like, you may not. It's good that you're doing toes to bar every Sunday, because now that's probably the most consistent people have done toes to bar in a very long time. If they've been coming every single Sunday. Is there anyone who's come every single Sunday?
Just Kento.
Okay.
A couple people have. I think there are a few people who have hit 3, because I think this was a 5-week month.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think there are a few people who hit 3, and then a good amount of 2s. So that's been interesting. It's definitely helped, because I'm like a walkover, and now I can go like, what am I going to say? And they'll have the answer. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
Now do that. But yeah,
because they're educated athletes. It's like in barbell club, I only have a handful of things that like each of you like regularly do, and you kind of already know, and it's like, oh, you did this, you did that, it's like we're kind of just working on getting better, improving the same things that plague us all the time, because they don't necessarily go away perfectly. If like one of Shop's biggest things is when he gets tired or doesn't, tighten up enough, the bar drifts away, right off the floor. And like, we're to the point now where you guys see that, right? Like, you guys were noticing that on, was it Friday? Right? Was it Friday? Yeah, it might have been Friday with the 130.
Potentially. No, I think it was Wednesday was the big day for it.
The low hang? Oh, no, the mid thigh.
Yeah. Because there's like a loop that happens.
Yeah. So like, this is what we're working on it so much that like everyone in the room knows what you're working on, and we know when abouts it might start to pop up, when we get to certain percentages. But like, we don't really have that too much with the CrossFit classes, because every day is so different. We may not do this for a while, or you may see someone on a Sunday for wall balls. You might not see that person do wall balls for another 6 months. You could potentially have workouts that pop up for 6 months where you don't see this athlete squat at all, unless you program squats in the warm-up. You're not going to see him squat. So it's just different, and that's where I think like holding positions, practicing range of motion, all the prep work we do is already great. But I think that maybe we need to do a little extra on the reality aspect of it. On like prove it, and let's find out right now. Like, do you know how this is going to feel? Can you go faster here? Like we did Linda, and I was encouraging Maria to, when the bar gets up here, roll it down and go again. But like, she would hit a squat clean, pause here for a long time as rest, and then breathe and go again. And it's like, you're trying to like tippy toe into that pain, of the workout, but like, you gotta go. like, because you're making it harder in a whole different way. It's funny. You're making it harder in a way that feels easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that the easy
100%.
feeling is actually like it's slowing you down, and it's affecting your results, right? Because intensity is what we want for the results. But also now the next movement's going to be even more harder. It's more tired because you've just been holding onto a bar for way too long. So encouraging people
I don't know if
transitions.
I don't know if Josh like hears it while I'm doing it, but I also do like, I guess what I call it now is like coaching trash talk, where it's like, it's almost always about the stimulus, about going faster. But like we were obviously talking about the time frame for the workout before and after. And people were like, that's not possible. And I'm like, it is. You just got to figure it out, or go faster, or drop your weight, or stop doing this and that. And then, yeah, like me telling Mike after the workout, that's like, hey, just so you know, that's a sub 10-minute workout for us. Like currently, if we really wanted to, we should be able to do that. But yeah,
if that was an event at the Shatter Slam, you guys should be smoking that wad. If you're in fighting shape.
I was dry heaving yesterday for sure. But also there were times where I was like, I'm comfortable. And I'm going to keep myself comfortable. Or like, okay, last couple rounds, I'm gaining on Mike. I know that I can finish around 13 minutes, which I did. And then I like stuck to that plan of like hit 13 minutes, where I could have been like potentially make a mistake, and either you get 12:30 right now or you get 14,
That's a big mistake. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's still some things where it's funny because we're working it out in our classes, but also within myself because I'm not doing it as much, where I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to restructure this and like really figure out what you're able to do and like see what your current limit is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a great thing. I think we should be pushing people to stop being so comfortable in the hour of their day where we agreed this wouldn't be comfortable. Like we're not going to the fitness center and it's perfectly air conditioned and here's your towel and do the machines and get your water bottle and play on your phone. It's like, no, like this is a little bit different than that, and days like that will pop up. There's different days, but that day yesterday, that was a get after it type of day.
Yeah.
And anyone that finished it in 15 minutes or so, it's not like they got a bad workout or anything like that. I think you could critique it in like, if that was the coaching goal, all right, we missed the stimulus, if I have people in my class who go over the stimulus, that is on me, but also so that means I need to think about how am I presenting the information and where did I go wrong in presenting the information that led you down this path?
Yeah.
And then what didn't I see in all of our prep and stuff that still allowed me to say 3, 2, 1, go when you had 20 pounds too heavy on your bar? Like, why wasn't it immediately evident,
Yeah.
And that comes down with knowing your athletes, seeing them regularly, knowing what they can do. Well, hey, I saw that you just power snatched 95 pounds for the first time last week on the heavy day. Maybe we don't go RX today on 95 pounds for 75 reps.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop, being nice about the WOD math. I like presenting the WOD math. It's 100 reps today. If you didn't know that, or if you were trying to like hide that information from yourself, here it is. We shouldn't lie. Don't lie to yourself. Like when you saw 10 rounds of 10 reps, you knew it was 100 reps. If that affects you psychologically by me saying at the board, and all right, we got 10 rounds of 10 burpees, that's 100 burpees. If that affects you, you shouldn't be doing 10 rounds of 10 burpees. All right, maybe you should be doing 6 burpees for 10 rounds or whatever it is. If that already has got you, that lets us know we gotta scale it back, you know. Um, but if I say, all right, it's 100 burpees and you're unfazed, or you're like, yeah, that's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think using that as a way just to let people know the reality, because I mean, people definitely don't do the WOD math because they don't want to know.
Yeah.
But like that would have been a day yesterday, be like, that's 75 power snatches, 75 burpees, 150 reps, 150 wall balls is 10 minutes, 12 minutes or less. Like, so it's like, even think, how long should 150 reps be? You know, like
Yeah.
you can almost start to figure out how long a workout should be by the total volume. All right, it's 300 reps. Ooh, all right, this is going to take people a little bit of time to get through that. That's a lot of work to do. But 150 reps, what would my expectations be? Well, all right, what do other 150 reps do? Okay, snatches unbroken. So I think it's a 75-75. It should be a crazy lightweight on the bar that you can go unbroken right from the beginning. And then making everybody go super light and they do it unbroken. We're going to get the intensity, I feel. They're going to get the feel of doing 15 in a row versus it does feel different doing 5 rest.
Yeah.
Your grip is taxed in a different way, your shoulders, the whole thing. And then do the burpees. And if you get it done in 12:37, that's cool. There's no way you're walking away from that being like that was too easy, right? Like if you're like, hey, go 35 pounds today and do the full reps and get it done, and they get it done in 11:27. There's no way anyone walks away from that being like, Miguel, that was way too easy. You scaled me way too light. If anything, they're like, oh, I'm so glad you brought that weight down. I wouldn't have been able to hold on to it. It's like, yeah, because it's hard. Is it? Sometimes do people just like stop forgetting that it's going to be hard? Like it never escapes me. I'm like, oh man, like this is about to be the hardest 15 minutes of my life right now, every single time. I'm never numb to it.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, especially for me hopping in with something like that, where I'm like, I'm doing it RX. It is going to be hard because it's also RX.
Yeah.
But I mean, like my mindset is also like, I don't do this a lot, but there's no reason for me to really scale this unless I think I'm going to walk through it. It might be a little bit harder if you are consistently scaling because again, like a lot of people just haven't found like the appropriate scaling for themselves to allow themselves to do it fast. And again, like we always talk about it, but like some people just have one speed. Where today I was talking about the burpees and I was like, it's 6 burpees to start off. So you know your burpee speed. Like I would love to tell you like, hey, finish that this time. But I mean, like you look and you're like, you're just not. Because I go off myself where I'm like, around 10 seconds, you should be looking at the clock of like, maybe you have to drop one more time. But I'm like, not everyone's like that. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. The one speed thing, I don't know if I'm bought into it yet. Like it's a real thing, but it's like I know how to adjust my speed for burpees. You know, I know if these are get after it burpees, if these are race burpees, or if these are like consistency burpees. Like, all right, if I hold this pace, I will do all 15 in a row. And by nature, that is fast. And then I can turn it up here and no. But like everyone who maybe thinks they have one speed or that we think they have one speed, I have seen all of them go 3 times as fast on the last round or the last, set of something. So it's like you're holding back. You know, you're clearly holding back. And I'm starting to get to the point where I'm feeling like you're holding back in a way of like you owe me money. And I know you got the money, but you don't want to pay me. And it's like, it's not my problem, that you need that money for later. Like, it's like, I want my money, like you owe me 10 burpees in 30 seconds. I saw you do it last week in the last round, yet every other round took you 1:15. What was the pity party on all those minute 15s? Right. What was going on? Like, why were you saving it to the end? because saving it to the end made you slower, and it reduced the fitness output you could have had for the day. I would rather you use it early and finish slow because you lost it than to go the other way. But yeah, there's not one person that I can think of where it's like, no, yeah, they do them slow, because I've seen everybody, rower, bike, even the bike, burpees, all these things. I've seen them all do it. So I'm calling it's fake, Miguel. I'm calling it's everyone has figured out the comfort zone and they're in there, and then we're just trying to pull them out, you know?
That is true. I mean, sometimes the cue faster does work. I have seen.
Yeah.
Where I'm just watching someone and I'm like, it looks great. Oh, it looks great. So go faster. Like, this is exactly the point where good, you're doing everything correctly. So do it faster now.
Yep. Technique, consistency, and intensity. All right, they have the technique. Oh, wow, they're doing it rep after rep, round after round. Let's ramp up the intensity. Start doing them faster. And then that's also why we're there. When you start to go faster, now we're like, well, all right, slow it down just a little bit. Like we gotta get a little bit lower. We gotta we don't want to cut any of this range of motion short. But I think it's okay for us as coaches to be as greedy as possible with wanting all of it. I want it all. I want the technique. I want the consistency. I want the intensity. And then I'll just keep asking for more and more and more, or less and less when it's time. Maybe we have too much of just athletes just deciding, and that's in the moment, because you can decide in the moment. You're like, all right, I am going to do 4, then 5, and then 2, and then 3, and then whatever it is to get to 15. And everybody else is on round 2 of the snatches, and you're just starting the burpees. And it's like, well, this isn't the way it's supposed to go today, Or so I think, I don't know. Monday, there's not really too much of an opportunity. We've got heavy back squats. Got some longer workouts coming up. I want like a killer workout to like really. We got back squats on Monday. We got long running front rack lunges, rope climbs on Tuesday. Here's a good one. 21, 15, 9, 21. Sumo deadlift high pull, push press, calorie bike. So you have to do 21 on all 3 movements, then 15, then 9, and then end with another set of 21.
Yeah.
They're saying this workout 11 to 15 minutes. Okay. Interesting. You can unbroken first set of push presses and sumo deadlift high pulls with just a short break between movements. Light load for higher reps. Interesting. You can guarantee I'm going to have people do 21 on both the sumo deadlift high pull and the push press.
Yeah.
I might even have them with an empty bar do it back to back, and then bike for a minute and be like, this is the WOD. And like, you need to be able to do this at the very end, I think that's fair. I think it'd be fair to load up 95, 65 and be like, hey, give me 21 push presses right now. Then we rest. Then give me 21 sumo deadlift high pulls. Like, I think that's still fair. It's still training, right?
It's kind of like, especially because you have to 21 twice. It's like 21 is important here. You need to be able, especially those middle rounds should feel like nothing, because you're like, at least it's not 21. I'm definitely going unbroken now. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that bike's going to be tough. See, the bike is where people are going to get onto the bike and be like, I'll settle here for a little bit. Right. But that's not where it needs to go. It needs to be a hard bike for sure. Let's see, what else did they say for the stimulus here. 6 minutes or less of total time on the bike. The first set of calories in under a minute 30. So you can guess what we're going to do as well. We are going to do 21 reps on each barbell movement with the bar, empty bar. I'll be merciful. And then we'll do calories, for 90 seconds to see if we can get to 21 or 21 calories. And it should be, maybe it's better just to set the number. We're going to do 21 calories on the bike, and it needs to be done in less than 90 seconds, kind of a deal. Yeah, I think that's all fair, right?
Yeah.
It's all training. It'd be like if you guys are like in barbell club, we don't want to do all this bar work. We don't want to snatch before we snatch. I don't want to tire me out too much. Then again, you guys are numb to a lot of that at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do like they do this a lot for the running workouts where they make you do like a time trial where they're like, if the person wants to run 800 meters, we'll give them this amount of time to run a 400 and this and that. So like, I would even like do like a trick of like, all right, we're going for a minute 15 and you're going for the 21 calories. So either stop at a minute 15 or at 21 calories. And yeah, you'll see that some people will hit that 21 calories like comfortably. And then some people might squeak in because they're like, oh, it's just a minute 15. But if you give them a minute 30, they'll use the whole minute 30.
Yeah, this is the if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile type of thing. So you have to keep like it's like a chess game, on like, well, I'll take this move, and they're like, aha, but I will take this move. And then there might even be the people that smoke through this, and then they're like, but yeah, when we get in the workout, I'm not going to do that.
They're like, I have to do other stuff with that, so that's different. So that I got to add 45 seconds, and
And that's when all of a sudden James says, when you get your first warm-up weight on, all right, well, now let's do 15 with that. And then you get your final workout weight on. Because 95, I would want 2 jumps. So what if this was a way to build up to this on like practice rounds and layering things in? The 21 empty barbell. That's our, once we practice technique, that's our first like little tester. Then put your next weight on. We're taking 2 jumps. All right. Now you got, let's say if you're going 95, you got 75 on there. All right, Miguel, give me 15 and 15 and then bike again. And then now put 95 on there. Now give me 9. So I'm only asking you to do 9 and 9 with the actual workout weight, but you've gotten to feel what all those rep ranges are going to be like with an increasing weight.
Yep.
And I'm looking, if he can't do 9 unbroken, I know that he ain't going to do the last 21 or the first 21 the way we want to, So I wonder if that would be, let's see what their practice round is right here. Let's see. Practice round. Oh, there isn't one. No, mini round. The mini round after the build-up is 2 to 3 sets, 6 sumo deadlift high pulls, 6 push presses. So I'm adding more reps, you can see, to my practice rounds. If we're doing 3 sets, 21, 15, 9. Their mini round is 3 rounds, 5, 3, 1. 5 sumo deadlift high pulls, 5 push press, 5 calorie bike, then 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1. I don't know. It would that increase your heart rate? Yes. Would that get you a chance to like feel out the full sequence? Yes. And get going through the room? Yes. But does that give you a reality of how, like, especially the last 21? I don't know. What do you think about this?
I think it builds in your mind breaking up.
Yeah. And
because
small
it's such
sets.
small numbers, you're like, oh yeah, I just did 3s here. So if I do, I can hit 6s in the workout because we've done these small sets. So I should do small sets.
And that's all we've done. For the push press with an empty bar PVC pipe, you do 10 reps. But again, that's just the technique practice part of it. Sumo deadlift high pull, it's 10 reps on everything. So you do 10 deadlifts, 10 deadlift shrug, 10 deadlift shrug fast, 10 sumo deadlift high. So you could say that's 40 reps right there of volume and training and coaching. But it's it's not, I don't feel, helping for the reality of the workout when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the 15s of the push presses and you've already done 21, 15, 9 Sumadev high pull push press and calorie bike, and you're starting to feel it now, and all you want to do is put down the bar, and now you start doing fives or something like that. I don't know if any of this extra volume helps. The dynamic warm up, 3 sets of 10 air squat, push up, sit up. And then the bike warm up, 7 sets of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And it says rest and adjust bike setup as needed. So, and there's nothing else there with it on like ramping up RPM. So is it busy work? Is it just busy? Is that all just busy work and just warming up? And because am I going to be warmed up after 3 sets of 10 air squat, 10 push up, 10 sit up, and then 7 sets, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off of biking? Yeah, I'm going to be warm after that. Am I squatting, pressing, bike, and I'm doing all the movement patterns? But I don't know if this tells me like none of this is going to hit me or tell me the reality of the middle of that workout when I have too much weight on the bar because I skirted through all the rest. I'm just strong enough to get through those 6s, right? I don't know. What do you think about all this, hearing this lesson plan? It will work both ways. It will. But the thing that I'm trying to needle in on is 11 to 15 minutes is the goal. I'm trying to make sure it's going to be like 17, 18 minutes for some people, I feel. The one speed people are going to be like, well, I'll just finish it.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging those unbroken sets. And I think the only way that you can do that beyond just saying it, because saying it is one thing, but like
training
forcing them to do it and having the body know like this is what it feels like to hold on to this many reps is the only way that that's possible.
Yeah, and forcing is maybe a harsh word, you know, like we have to train it, you know, like we you know, even with just an empty barbell. Like I remember when I was first being exposed to thrusters, the 21 with the empty barbell versus 6 with empty barbell, totally different, you know. Especially if I haven't done thrusters in a while and I forgot how they feel like. Sometimes people forget how these things feel like, you know, when we're on like a little tear of doing the same things over and over. And then all of a sudden double unders have popped up again for the first time in a while. And you're like, what do I do again? How does it feel in the middle of this workout? So yeah, I will approach this one differently. Right from the whiteboard, I'm using the word unbroken. I'm using the word crazy light. I'm using the word fast. I'm using the word, you know, intensity, and then we train it. You know, we're going to do all these other sets, but then I'm going to want to see you do 21. And then the bonus part for me is you're moving longer than you would for just a quick 6. And then, so I get to see Miguel. Well, what is Miguel like when he gets to 11? Oh, look, he starts cutting his pull short. He stops locking it out. He's getting onto his toes. By the time we got to 16, he was very toesy. Now I know that's not going to get any better if we add more weight. If you're not taking the cues here with just the empty barbell. So then I might be like, you know, Miguel, instead of putting 10s on there, put 5s on there, you know. Or I think 65 is a better weight today. This is totally a workout where I'll just use men as an example. The vast majority of men in our gym will default, I think, to 75 when they should be probably using 55, you know, for this workout, because they're like, all right, for this many reps and it's thrusters, you know, 95, it'll click in their head. That does seem a little, that's Fran weight. That's a weight I don't know about, or that I do know what that feels like. But then they'll bump it down to like, or weird weights. Let me do 80. Let me do that. Well, I used to encourage the weird weights a lot, and now I'm starting to like get away from it. I'm like, how about we just take it down to 65? Like, they're like, well, let me do 70. I'm like, no, how about we do, we just do like the uniform numbers and you
Right.
do all of them in a row, because I am starting to find people are like doing the odd weights, but they're not getting the stimulus done, so to say. And I'm like, I don't know if that extra 5 pounds did anything for us. I would have rather you took 5 pounds off it and held on to it. So yeah, I think this will be a perfect example of testing this out.
Yeah.
And if I'm lucky, Josh will be in class, so he has to do all these practice round reps. I think that's a fair way of doing the practice rounds too. 21 empty barbell, 15 weight 2, 9 weight 3. That's the workout weight. I think you're prepped and ready to go after that, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Plot twist: strip the bar after the 9. Do one more set of 21. No, I'm kidding. That would be maybe a little too much, but yeah, I'll have to report back on how this goes.
Yeah.
And, do you have any workouts coming up on your Sundays where you could kind of test this out a little bit on, all right, I might structure my practice rounds a little differently to show the reality of the workout a little more?
I think I'm still trying to finalize what this next focus for July will be.
Yeah.
But I think I have an idea, so I'll have to work around that to have those go hand in hand.
Okay. Well, you thinking more endurance, more gymnastics?
I think it's more lifting.
Okay. That'll bring
Like,
people in.
yeah, like technique with that kind of stuff. I think I was going to do specific like one thing, but I think it's going to be lifting overall.
Mhm.
Like my focus, honestly, might be core to extremity.
Mhm.
Like we did med ball thrusters today, and I was like, all right, we won't go over the full like med ball clean technique, but like the deal, like all this stuff and just early arm bends, like all this stuff. And then I'm thinking of like, what did I see in toes to bar? Like people love to bend their elbows. So that was one thing that I'm like, if I can carry that through, like have these things carry over from toes to bar to lifting to this and that. And yeah, a lot of times I feel like I don't see people lift from the floor too often. A couple of the workouts that I peppered in with the toes to bar focus had lifting. And based off what I saw with that, I think I want to do just like a lifting focus for July.
Yeah, I think that'd be super fun. And then you could also incorporate, like, let's say if you're doing heavy cleans on one day, no jerk, we're just going to focus on cleans. You could use the med ball clean as your general warm up.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, I mean, I've done that before plenty of times where it's like, all right, selfishly, I haven't coached this in a while, so I'm going to shoehorn this in to warm you guys up, get the movement pattern going, core extremity, early arm bends, all that stuff. But also, I get an opportunity to coach this movement that doesn't pop up in the workouts often, but I should know it because it's one of the 9 foundational ones. Like, when was the last time med ball cleans popped up into the workout? Yeah. A long, long time. So you start to get rusty, or you don't think about it as often. So if we're doing wall balls or we're doing heavy cleans or something, you could just bust out any of these progressions and use them as your general warm-up, and then you can incorporate other things. You could be like, all right, I'm going to do the med ball clean progression, have them do 10 deadlifts. I'm going to cue in the circle. I'm going to make corrections. And then after that, they go for a run, come back, do 5 burpees. Now we're on, all right, keep your arms straight, and I'm adding in a little bit of fatigue into it. So I want you to keep your arms straight when you're tired too. Or just keep it straight up med ball clean. It doesn't even have to be a part of a bigger thing.
Yeah, I think I'll build kind of week to week in that fashion.
Yeah, and that might get you to, like, have you taught a class yet where it's only the snatch? So it's an hour of snatch, heavy snatches. Have you done that day yet?
No, not with the just regular Olympic lifts. I've done it with like, I think it was jerks. No, I think I have weird ones. Like
back squat, overhead
no,
squat.
not even. I think there were like lunges. I think I had forward and reverse lunges both.
Oh, yes. Yep,
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had a couple of those, but yeah, I think it would be good to just do like today's essentially a clinic in snatching or clean and
Yeah. How fun would that be on like I mean, and then, people come in, they're like, well, you can like pepper in little Miguel stories. Well, the first time I snatched, 200 pounds was from this, and people know what you can do with that stuff. That helps with their like, well, he can do this. I'll listen to him. That's even something that we should like put an announcement on. Hey, this Sunday, Miguel, teaching the snatch. Come learn to snatch with Miguel. We can do fun stuff like that. And try to get more bodies in the room for it. And then you can think about, okay, well, what does a general warm up look like for me on this day? How much bar work am I going to do? What progression am I going to use? Am I do Bergner with the PVC, then get into the barbell, then get into the lifts, and then maybe we do the first couple warm up sets together? There's a million things you can do with it. Actually, it's so funny. There's so many things you can do where it's like you're like, wait a minute, it's 11 o'clock. Oh crap. We have to start this thing, and like, all right, everybody, it's a 2-hour class today. 2-hour class, because let me tell you, Miguel, it's fun coaching just those lifts. It's a lot of fun. It's way more fun than just lunge day, just a heavy lunge day. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Cool. Awesome. Well, Miguel, any other thoughts on any of the things that we've talked about today? Consistency, workforce training, or just hopping back into Metcons and changing our coaching strategy to get people to push a little more?
Yeah, I would just say, like, for myself, just slowly adding in a little bit more each time. I have my stints where, I'll do like Cindy for a while or this and that, but just overall, because I know like those movements for me will always be there, but like a little bit more challenging, I think, to like really get myself back into quote unquote shape. Something that won't take away from like barbell club though. So I think that's my next kind of goal or thing that I'm looking forward to.
Cool. I think that's a great goal. I mean, again, we want it all. We should be in shape if we're a high performing weightlifter, but we need to be in shape for weightlifting. Like weightlifting shape is different than general fitness shape, but can we have one that's like 100% or 101% and another one that's kind of like at 90%, I think continuing to raise the levels on all of your metrics, if this was like one of those sports games, like Madden, where you have your attributes, like right now your strength is maxed out, but like our endurance, it might be down a little bit, we should make one of those for barbell club. Like the Madden attributes thing, and then everybody can rate where they think their attributes are, and then your teammates can be like, no, it's actually that. Always have a board up. I think that's perfect. My last closing thoughts would be, anyone who's listening to this, we're not talking about you. Even when we're using names, we just have examples of people that we interact with. But anything that we point out, we're working through inadequacies or things that need to be improved upon in our own coaching.
Right.
So anything that we're talking about in like, we need athletes to go faster, we need this, we need that, people are figuring out how to game things or how to go slow, whatnot, that's all our fault, and we're just talking through things and strategizing ways that we can be better to make other people better, because we know the ultimate mission. And it literally is a chess game that changes every single day with every different mix of people that come in. Like, we get 10 different people come in, and like last Saturday could have been a complete different, group of people, a more laid back Saturday. And then yesterday, Josh could have been like, they're crazy today, all right, so I got to do this, but then he's also trying to do that, and he's making sure he's not failing here and all these things. It's a constant battle that we're always trying to improve upon, because we're trying to make everybody better. So we're never complaining about anybody. We're just trying to figure out, all the complaints are about ourselves. Why? Like if someone, if I blow the stimulus on Wednesday with this bike workout thing, I'm going to be thinking about, well, shoot, where did I go wrong that this didn't happen, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And it makes it fun. Cool. Well, Miguel, where can people follow you?
Couldn't be Miguel on Instagram.
Me, James A. McDermott, Albany CrossFit, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, the Barbell Strikes Back, New York Weightlifting. 2 days left for early bird special for New York State Championships. If anyone happens to be at the tail end of this discussion and you're like, oh, yeah, I should do that. Register now. Cool. Well, Miguel, thanks for coming on. Everybody, thank you for listening.
Thank you.